because they built like armor-plated cars because Nationwide just lets you go in with whatever. And I would show up with a 75 Merc that barely ran and smoked, you know what I mean? And I never had headers or anything. It was just a bent drive shaft behind my back that we welded in and called it done. You know, left the key in it, so it's pretty refreshing to see this type of love that you have, Steven. Let me talk about art a little bit more. Do you ever think about buying art as an investment? Do you ever even notice it as an investment?
You know what? Now that you've asked me that, I don't think I ever have.
Have you ever been on a cruise?
Oh, yeah, I've been on a couple cruises.
And did you go to the art gallery presentation on those cruises where they try to sell you Thomas Kincaid's as investments?
The answer's going to have to be no, Jason.
All right. Well, I have met quite a few people. So people will call me on the phone. Hey, I got this piece of artwork off a cruise and now I want to sell it. And I'm all like, well, that's not what... I don't buy Thomas Kincaid's to turn them over. So I often send them down the road to the next art gallery where hopefully they can help them. But that's who I find most who buy artwork as investment is the cruise ship manages to sell stuff. So even my mom bought like 3 paintings. I'm like, Mom, they have absolutely nothing to do with your life. What is with this artwork? You know, so I could see you maybe owning like a tiny Picasso or something, you know, so you're like really going for it. Like, you know, really going for it.
I'd probably rather invest in someone that maybe appears as nothing now, and hopefully down the road they become something. That's a long play investment.
That's a long play. That's you. I like that. That's like a real estate investment. Yep. You know. So, so if you had a future, what does your future see as an investor? Do you have any tips that for young investors?
Money management.
Money management.
Now I'm just turned 30, so like I went to Vegas recently and you saw me gamble.
It was impressive.
Until I was like 25, I wouldn't touch a casino. I've never had tobacco in my mouth, not because like I was worried about cancer or not. I mean, obviously I was, but I couldn't look at that pack of cigarettes and be like, I spent this every day.
It's a poor investment.
So long play, money management, save your money, reinvest your money in yourself and in the tools. I mean, the proper equipment, depending on, no matter what the job is, the proper equipment can make you a lot of money if you use it right.
I've recently moved to renting equipment. I think renting equipment works well for me, but that's because of how my housing situation is. I live inner city. I only have so much room. So I'm not going to buy an excavator because I don't use it that often, so I'll rent one. I'm not going to buy a Bobcat because I don't use it that often. I'll rent one.
Yeah, you know, I'm the opposite. I have the property, so if I could find the right deal that I can break it down and be like, well, I'm going to have $700 a week in renting a skid steer. If I buy this skid steer for $15,000, how many times would I have rented it? And now I have a skid steer that it might only be worth $13,000 when I'm done, but I didn't pay rent the whole time.
Exactly. So we have 2 different investing styles.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not necessarily there's a right or a wrong. That's what fits you.
It makes sense. But that's what I learned was, for me personally, was stop buying and just rent because I don't have storage, and that's where my problem is.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have somewhere to keep it, you're going to end up taking a loss probably.
That's it. And like you want it to be, you know, I put the maintenance on the person renting it to me. You know, it's up to them to make sure what I'm getting is a good piece of equipment for what I need to use it for. So that's one way I want to jump in on your money management style. That's also why I didn't smoke. I didn't want to throw that money away because I was being frugal.
I used to be stingy, and a lot of my friends remember it because like they're still like shocked when I buy certain things or do certain things in my life, they're like, holy hell, Steven's doing this.
Well,
For years, I didn't.
well, that's what it was. For years, you couldn't. You know, I mean, you couldn't, didn't.
Just at the age of 29, bought my first new furniture, a bedroom suit. So
Congratulations. It's expensive.
yeah, but obviously, I moved out when I was 17, so for 11 years, I just used whatever
Exactly.
my family
Hand-me-downs.
given. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's how we had to do it. And that's what I look back. I was doing a long drive the other day, and I was like, I had someone ask me, how'd you get to whatever this moment is? And it was the extra hours. So I worked an 8-to-5 job for 20 years, and then I DJ'd at night 4 nights a week. You didn't know this, but for 4 nights a week.
Fun fact, you didn't know I was a DJ once.
Really?
I DJ'd a wedding once.
Oh, what was your DJ name?
DJ Icicles.
Icicles.
No, I didn't have a name.
Oh.
It was just for
Mine was DJ Lift Kit.
Lift Kit.
Lift Kit. I grew up in the age of trance music. I don't know. But that was the hustle. I would work 8 to 5, go home, load up all my records, DJ the club Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, get home at 2:30 in the morning, get back up, and get after it. That DJ gig of 20 years made the down payment on me buying a commercial building. You know what I mean? So I just hustled that money and just refused to get sleep for 20 years. But I didn't miss out on anything.
Your body will get used to it.
Well, I was young and my body could do it. So I wasn't working manual labor as the second shift. I was working manual labor as the first 8 to 4 shift. And then the second shift was just being in tune of culture and playing music, knowing the room, playing the room, and just, working the bar scene of
DJing
Southside.
can be stressful, though.
It was, because I would be, if the dance floor wasn't packed, if I didn't have the right back-to-back song, I knew the club owner was like, yo, but I also would remind the club owner I had to play a crappy song once in a while to get people to go to the bar. You know what I mean? So I had to play like something like, what? So let's get another drink.
My experience was definitely stressful. It was a wedding, and my aunt and her husband, so my uncle, their gift to them was he was supposed to DJ their wedding because he had done that years ago. And he wasn't initially in the wedding party, but someone backed out, so he filled in like 2 weeks to go, the wedding party. I didn't know his family from Adam. They all had really complicated last names. That was the worst part about the wedding.
Oh, God.
But she asked me, she says, hey, I know you've never done this, but will you? And that goes back to the being bold. I'm like, what the hell? I'll try it.
Right?
I don't know that I liked it or hated it, but I didn't do too bad. I only mispronounced one mate or bridesmaid's name.
You really brought back some memories for me. That weddings were the worst. Weddings were the worst. It was pronouncing people's names as they entered the space.
Oh, yeah. This one was a Russian name or something. The silent letters just got me.
So I would go to people's houses. We go over the set list. This is what we're going to play. This is what we're going to do. So I'm doing a wedding wherever. And I see it's the mother-son dance coming up, okay, on the list. I'm like 3 songs away. And I'm looking, and I'm like, uh-oh, I don't have the song. I'm like, we've talked about this. We've talked about this 50 times. I don't have the song. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm in a space where there's no Wi-Fi. I'm like, oh, my God, I don't have the song. So this is back when cell phones were just barely getting music. So it had, what's that cell phone that had the slider?
Oh, the Glide.
Yeah, it was a Motorola, I think.
See, mine was called a Glide.
I don't know. But it was like one of the big phones where it's... Is
that when you had to buy every song individually from the music store that was provided by, like, Verizon?
Yes. Okay, so I get the song. I'm panicking. I'm sweating. I'm like, oh, my God. Everybody's ready for the dance. I pull out the aux cord, jam it in my phone. I play the song. It goes without a hitch. I unpull the aux cord, put it back in, transition to the next song. My phone rings. I was 4 seconds away from a phone call during the mother-son song. That's when I realized I'm a terrible DJ. I need to stop this immediately. And I will never work a wedding again.
I mean, maybe you would have got the publicity from America's Funniest Videos or something.
No, I was already feeling hate from the room, so I didn't really want. It was frustrating, and
I was lucky. The bridesmaid was drunk, so nothing but love, at least with the mispronunciation.
Right. I ended up getting my internet reverend license to do cousin Dane's wedding. That was a fun one. So I had to fly. I had to fly to Utah, spray paint a car. I was in Utah 20 hours, flew back, did the rehearsal dinner, then did the wedding the next day. That was nerve-wracking as well. Like, and they only had a few lines for me, but I was in a room full of people who are like highly critical because it's all derby drivers and like doctors and all sorts of people of influence. And I was like, why did they hire me? Why did they hire Sauer to do their wedding? Bless their hearts. But we're all great friends. It all worked out. Jake Berkner did the toast, and he loved Dane. So that's pretty cool. I did not know you were a DJ. Icicles. DJ Icicles. One time.
One and done.
Well, I mean, it's a hustle. Did you make money?
My aunt forcefully paid me because it was their gift to them, and he bailed, but I tried to refuse. Nice.
Did you drink while you were DJing?
I want to say I was only 20, and I had somewhere I worked, drove to Johnstown, which is an hour and a half, DJ'd, and then drove straight home. So I don't think I drank, but I did eat.
I never really drank, so I would drink I'd do one shot right away when I got to the club. But I've been pulled over so many times because I was the last car out of the parking lot because I was cleaning up as the DJ. I've been pulled over so many times at 2:30 in the morning. Luckily, the first time I was pulled over, sober. From that one, I was always sober because I knew for a fact. So I would, at 1:45, I knew that I was 45 minutes away from getting pulled over. And I was like, every night. And then the cops are disappointed. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, we got you. I'm like, I don't drink. I'm the DJ. I'm working.
Yeah, I had a similar situation delivering food down in West Virginia. A lot of the bars would close at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And the place I worked for closed at 4 a.m. when I was in college. So we'd get off at 4 or 5 o'clock, and I'd get pulled over, and it's like, nope, I'm just driving like an asshole.
I'm sure you've gotten a lot of speeding tickets.
Luckily in Morgantown, they were pretty forgiving because I was either on the clock or just getting off, but I have a few tickets.
Yeah?
Yeah. More than most, probably.
Yeah, your dad says that you're driving around that spray painted truck, of course, and you drive 90 miles an hour everywhere.
Believe it or not, that's probably been one of the least vehicles I've been pulled over in. He has a 71 Camaro that this one time I just was rolling tire at a stoplight, and I had smoke coming in from the back of the car, and it was nighttime, and all of a sudden in front of me, my headlights hit their, I couldn't even see the car in front of me, but the car went sideways in front of me going down the road. My headlights hit their fluorescent writing. I could see Pennsylvania State Police. Uh-oh. That was a good time.
It's interesting. I drive all over America, so I am always driving under the speed limit because my truck is spray painted. So I set the cruise at 69, and I always
go 8 to 10 over. I take the risk.
I slam on the brakes even at 69. I'm like, whoa! My cousin who rides with me, he's like, yeah.
I should say I have been pulled over a lot, but I'm normally honest as it gets with them. Yes, I was speeding. Blah, 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 blah. And I mean, the cops are normally fairly understanding. I get a warning, and if they knew how many warnings I had, they'd probably, I'm sure they might have a way to check, but they'd be like, we need to quit warning this guy.
Well, it's probably because you're good looking. I'm always on the hood with my hands behind my back while they search my vehicle. I'm like, there's nothing in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had that yet.
I've had it quite a few times. It's terrible. And I'm always when I'm alone. Last time I got pulled over, I had a 9-9 Rowdy and the 2 dogs in the car with me. It was like I was in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina, and I was doing 65 and a 45 because we were on a 2-lane road, and I've
been pulled over a lot for registration a couple of days out, driving so many different vehicles. I have 6 or 7 vehicles I drive, so. Them
not having the sticker on the license plate really irritates me because that's the only way I know my registration is out.
Yeah, and I recently had a truck that I bought in Tennessee, and I thought I had registered it in Pennsylvania, like when I transferred it, and here they were telling me that my registration ran out because I switched a plate from another vehicle, and I got all confused. That cop got me 3 days. 3 days.
Wow.
He was a jerk.
That's tough. That's tough. I never realized my registration's out until it's time for inspection.
Yeah, so if they're made it up, but this truck wasn't because I transferred the plate. When I got it back from Tennessee, I got it inspected, which gave me a year. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh, my registration's good for a year, but really it was only as good as the plate was, and got me in some trouble.
That's what happens when we own a lot of cars, or we drive have a lot of plated cars. How many plated cars you got?
Like 6.
6?
And that's not the classic ones. I got my Imperial and some other ones, but
so you got like 8 or 9 plates out there.
Yeah, something like that.
That's what, I think I got 5 or 6 right now. I never thought I'd be more than 2. I'm like, I'm never having more than 2.
Insurance time sucks.
Oh my God, my insurance agent will answer my phone call at his wedding at the altar. That's how much insurance I have.
That's how my dad's is.
Like, because I have like all the insurances. I'm a contractor, event insurance. And event insurance is crazy. But I'm allowed to give away beer because I have event insurance. I'm not allowed to sell beer, I'm not allowed to get tips, but in the state of Pennsylvania, I'm allowed to give it away because we work with so many breweries that donate like kegs to us.
Yeah.
I had to protect myself to give away beer. And so who knew?
I mean, makes sense.
Right? So, Steven, I think that went really well. Let's run through how they can follow us again. Where can they follow you?
You can just search me on Facebook, or you can follow my TikTok at Sickles911. I do have a YouTube channel. I'm going to start trying to put some more content back out, and that is just Sickles Racing. So Facebook, Sickles Racing, TikTok at Sickles911, YouTube, Sickles Racing.
Do you use Instagram much?
Oh, I do. I slacked off recently. I used to use it, but I don't even know what my username is. I'd have to look it up.
It's Sickles.
It's Sickles, ITZ Sickles. Is it ITZ Sickles or ITZ Sickles 911?
It's Sickles. That's what it is. So for me, please give us a follow, Cash on the Hood on Instagram and Facebook. But my parent company, the one I own, is Most Wanted Fine Art. So you want to go to Most Wanted Fine Art on YouTube or on TikTok, Instagram. That's the name of the art gallery, Most Wanted Fine Art. So what did you figure out what your Instagram was?
It's Sickles 911.
It's Sickles.
ITZ Sickles 911.
That's an easy one. So salute our producer, Brian Cottington from Cinema Psychos podcast. Please follow him. He's got 242 episodes as he talks about movies. So you want to listen to what he says. He's a professional. Salute our man Gerardo there in Mexico. Salute StudioME here in East Liberty. We are broadcasting and recording here in East Liberty, which is the next little town city beside Pittsburgh. So it's just down the street from my house, which makes it really convenient for me. So again, I appreciate you guys subscribing. We are on, our podcast is on all streaming services. So anywhere you get audio, you can get this Cash on the Hood podcast. So I am pumped to know that we have a great amount of subscribers, and that we're doing well right out the gate. So I appreciate having our wonderful guest, Steven Sickles. He has been a fantastic guest. I know he had to wake up early. He's got to get to a demolition derby. This guy makes money nonstop, so you can see the phone on the table. He's buying cars as we talk.
Only one.
I'm sure you'll have another one bought before we even leave the front door.
Hopefully.
I love this guy. He's great. So we'll be back with some new episodes. I got some great guests coming up. The Delaras, Gerardo. I got the Most Wanted Car Club, Mike Tick, Skinny, Track Shot Live. All those guys are all been coming through here, and I'm pretty stoked for it. So I'm really excited that we got this whole new format here. And as investing goes, Steven, what we just did today is we invested in what is called SEO, which is search engine optimization. So when someone types in your name on Google, this podcast and the other podcast you did with me will help raise your level on the Google bar search.
Going to the top.
We're investing in ourselves, Steven. This is what we got to do. All right. So thank you. This is Cash on the Hood. I'm your host, Jason Sauer, and I will catch you on the next podcast.